Your Honor, the state calls Ms. Rodriguez at this time.
All right, go ahead.
Ma'am, what is your full legal name?
Judith Rodriguez.
And who are you the mother of?
Giselle Astanet Ceniceros.
And who does she reside with at this time?
She is residing with her father, Luisa Ceniceros.
And how did your child come to live with her father?
We got in a brief argument and she called dad to pick her up and she stayed there ever since.
And did you freely and voluntarily allow your daughter to reside with Mr. Ceniceros?
I didn't want that, but at that point, I didn't want any further issues. I thought she was going to be back, but apparently she did not come back.
What do you mean you thought she was going to be back?
We got in an argument. She didn't like that I was disciplining her, so she called her dad to pick her up. And once she left, at first I was denying for her to leave with him. But after just arguing back and forth, she left with her dad, and I just thought she was gonna get over it and come back, but she said she wanted to stay and live with her dad.
Okay, and how long has your daughter been residing with her father?
Since she left, that was at the end of June in 2019.
And your daughter is still currently residing with Mr. Ceniceros, correct?
Yes.
And how is your daughter insured?
That I haven't taken, I don't know if he has insurance for her. When she was with me, I had Medicaid. But after she left, I don't have any benefits. I stopped getting any Medicaid, or I mean, I haven't applied for anything with her name anymore ever since.
Okay, and do you have any safety concerns regarding anyone?
I'm sorry?
Do you have any safety concerns with anyone?
No.
Has there ever been any family violence between you and anyone else?
Mr. Ceniceros.
Do you feel that if your address and other personal information were made public, that it would cause you harm, injury, or harassment?
I want to keep it private.
No further questions for this witness, Your Honor.
All right, just to clarify, Ms. Rodriguez, you said that's your daughter, Mr. Ceniceros, since June of 2019?
The end of June. It was like the last days of June.
Okay. How old is your daughter?
She's 15 now, Your Honor.
All right, thank you, ma'am. Kaplan, any other evidence or testimony?
Yes, Your Honor. The state calls Mr. Ceniceros.
All right, go ahead.
Sir, what is your legal name?
Luis Manuel Ceniceros.
And who are you the father of?
Giselle Astanet Ceniceros.
And who does she live with?
Me.
And how long has she lived with you?
I picked her up on June 25th of 2019.
And from that time until today, has she resided with you continuously?
Yes.
And how did she come to live with you?
She had an argument with her mom. They had a misunderstanding. She asked me to go pick her up. I told her if she wanted to come with me, she was more than welcome. Honestly, just like her mom, I thought that it was going to be a couple of days and she was going to go on and go back. But no, she's still there.
And do you feel that it's in your daughter's best interest to continue to reside with you?
Of course. Yes, ma'am.
And how is your daughter insured, sir?
Right now, I'm paying out of pocket. She doesn't have any medical insurance. I take her across the border for dental work. If she needs any shots or any vaccines, I'll take her to the local clinics.
Do you have any access to private health insurance, sir?
Yes, I do. From work.
Is it possible for you to add your daughter to your private health insurance?
Yes, it is possible.
Do you know how much that would cost you?
The last time I checked, it was a little bit out of my budget. I'm pretty sure I can find an alternative to that.
What alternatives might you have as far as health insurance?
There's different health insurance providers around that I can look into to see which one gives me, I guess, something adequate and affordable.
And do you have any other children, sir?
Yes, I have 2 older boys.
Are they under the age of 18?
No, no, they're not.
And do you have any safety concerns regarding anyone, sir?
No, ma'am.
Has there ever been any family violence between you and anyone?
There was a brief, I guess, occurrence between Judith and myself about 10 years ago, something like that.
Do you feel that it would cause you harm, injury, or harassment for your address or other personal information to be disclosed in a court order, sir?
No, ma'am.
No further questions for this witness, Your Honor.
All right. Mr. Ceniceros, are you working right now, sir?
Yes, I am.
Where do you work at?
Allegiance Staffing,
How long have you been working there?
going 7 years.
So right now, your daughter doesn't have any health insurance either through you or through Ms. Rodriguez.
That is correct.
Have you found out how much it would cost you to provide health insurance for your daughter?
At one time, I asked my employment, and it was something around $400 extra a month, which was a little bit out of my range. But I mean, I can find some. I've been paying stuff out of pocket for now.
Okay. All right. Thank you, sir. Kaplan, any other questions for either party?
Your Honor, I have no other questions for either party at this time, Your Honor.
All right. What is the recommendation of the state in this matter?
Your Honor, the state wishes to modify the current child support and medical support to 0 that Mr. Ceniceros is obligated to pay. And the reason for this requested modification is due to the fact that per the testimony of both parties, the child who is the subject of this suit has been residing with Mr. Ceniceros since June of 2019. The state further requests a judgment be taken on the child support and medical support arrears owed, and that an appropriate possession credit be applied for the amount of time that the child has resided with Mr. Ceniceros. The state further recommends that Mr. Ceniceros obtain health insurance for the benefit of the child through another source. And lastly, the state is requesting that Ms. Rodriguez's address and other personal identifying information not be disclosed in any resulting court orders. And if I may have a moment, Your Honor, to calculate a possession credit in this case. Thank you.
Go ahead. While she's doing that, what I'm gonna advise the parties is that for the time being, now that the child is with Mr. Ceniceros, that the child support that he was ordered to pay Ms. Rodriguez will be stopped. Okay. This does not change the conservatorship or the custody aspect of the child. Okay, that would have to be done through a separate motion. If the child continues to live with Mr. Ceniceros, then he can file to modify what we call conservatorship or custody of the child. But this order that's going to be entered today does not in any way change that conservatorship or custody. It just merely addresses what is owed in this case, if there is any amount, And what Mr. Ceniceros will have is an obligation to pay support. Obviously, since a child has been with Mr. Ceniceros, the recommendation so far is that the child support be stopped, and that Mr. Ceniceros no longer be ordered to pay child support for the child. Okay. Now, if the situation were to change and Mr. Ceniceros obtains custody, legal custody of the child, then the courts can order Ms. Rodriguez to pay child support. Okay, but that is not being addressed today. The only thing that's being addressed today is the issues of child support and whether or not there is any child support or medical support arrearage. Okay, just want the parties to be aware of that and to understand that. Okay. Ms. Kaplan?
Yes, Your Honor. I have calculated a possession credit from the months starting July 1st, because the child did go to reside with Mr. Ceniceros at the end of June, starting July 1st of 2019 until today, to be a credit in the amount of $2,493.90. Round to the nearest dollar, that would be $2,494. And the state requests a judgment on the child support arrears owed as of yesterday, in the amount of $6,071.56. And upon subtracting the appropriate possession credit from the $6,071.56, a remaining arrears balance of $3,577.56 exists. So the state requests that a judgment after possession credit of $3,577.56 be repaid at $50 a month beginning July 1st of 2020. And the state further requests a repayment on the medical support judgment also as of yesterday in the amount of $2,457.03, also to be repaid at $50 a month beginning July 1st as well. All obligations commencing July 1st, Your Honor.
I didn't get the payment on the medical support judgment.
$50 per month, Your Honor.
50. Now, as far as the medical support, was Mr. Ceniceros, okay, let me back up. Ms. Rodriguez, is your daughter still covered on Medicaid, or did you stop that?
Well, that I know of, I recently, because of the whole COVID-19, I had not been receiving benefits since last year in June 2019. Because of this COVID, I reapplied for myself and for my daughter that currently still lives with me for assistance. When I got approved, for some reason, they still put Giselle under my case, but I didn't want any further issues. They had approved her for Medicaid, but I didn't want issues with the father of saying maybe I was getting benefits I shouldn't for her. So I made the change and I made it clear that my daughter was no longer living with me as of June, the end of June 2019. And after that, my services were declined. So regardless, I'm not getting assistance.
Okay, all right, thank you.
Mm-hmm.
Let me restate the position of the state with regard to the arrearages in this case. And I'll ask the parties if they're in agreement with their recommendation. As I indicated, child support will be stopped. In other words, Mr. Ceniceros, you would not be ordered to pay child support to Ms. Rodriguez. And also, this order would require you to provide health insurance for your daughter, either through employment or through some other source. The state is recommending, apparently there's still some child support that is owed to Ms. Rodriguez. After giving you credit, according to their records, they're giving you credit for the possession and will their payments still be made, Ms. Kaplan?
Payments were made until, I want to say February.
Okay.
So I
Have you
don't know
seen the
anything.
financial report? Okay.
Your Honor,
Any
in these
payments
types
that you have made, Mr. Ceniceros, will be taken into account in determining whether or not there is a balance. Okay. So if
Well,
you continue to make payments, they should have given you credit for those payments that you made. And what I was talking about as far as any possession credits, the time that the daughter came to live with you since July of last year, because apparently the testimony is that she came to live with you the end of June, so June was still owed. So subsequent to July, that's when the possession credit would take place. Okay. All that being said, what they're recommending is there's still a balance of child support that is owed to Ms. Rodriguez. And when I got the amount, Ms. Kaplan, correct me if I'm wrong, the balance that's owed is $3,577.56 after possession credit.
yes, Your Honor.
Mr. Ceniceros, I see you're shaking your head. You seem to not be in agreement with that, sir.
no, sir.
Tell me why not.
When I called on July to have them hold, because they were still deducting from me, but I requested the Attorney General hold payments. They were still being made, but they were sent to the Attorney General, not to Ms. Judith. So I was never behind on child support. So they were retaining all that money. They should still have that money on their books. So I was never behind the child support. Up to July, the payments got sent to Ms. Judith. On August, the payments were already detained by the Attorney General. So I don't know anything.
Okay, hold on. Let me ask the Attorney General a question. Is there any money on hold?
Yes, Your Honor. There is a hold on this case. So the payments that are on hold are not reflected on the financial activity report, because in order to give a possession credit, arrears have to be owed. So whatever money is on hold will be applied to the arrears that exist after giving the possession credit, and whatever money is on hold over and above that will be returned to Mr. Ceniceros.
Okay, so it sounds like it's a basic accounting situation.
There was no arrears to begin with, Your Honor.
Okay, I understand. Well,
Never behind.
the only way that could have been rectified is either one of you all go to file a motion to change the custody of the child. Okay. Would the money that's on hold right now, what would that, I know if you can give me an idea, would that wipe out any other arrearage in this case, or would he still be owing some child support?
Your Honor, I'm not logged on to the child support database because when I log on to Zoom and the child support database at the same time, my Zoom application crashes.
There's about $7,020 on hold.
How do you know that, sir?
9 months at $780 that I pay.
Okay.
It was August, September, October, November, December, January, February, and March. Sorry, 8 months times the $780 that I paid. It's $6,240.
Okay.
Yeah, but just remember that I was never receiving that amount. My part of the child support, that was including the insurance that you didn't have for her. So just remember to keep that in mind. It was the 780 or what, that amount was never given to me. If they look at the statements, they'll see that it was only like 5 something. So just remember that. Don't include all of it, because all of it wasn't going towards your daughter. It was, some of it was because of insurance, and it stated on there. Because I have also they'll see right there like exactly what I was being given at the time.
All right. What I understand from the situation, and due to my prior experience with the Attorney General's office as far as their accounting principles, they need to confirm child support giving you credit for what they can give you credit. Now, once that the amount is determined, and if the amount that is on hold exceeds this amount, and Ms. Kaplan, you can correct me if I'm wrong, any money that exceeds whatever is owed in this case is to be returned back to Mr. Ceniceros?
Yes, Your Honor.
Okay,
But also, Your Honor, I realized I made an error in calculating my possession credit. I calculated a possession credit based on the $204 of medical support, not on the $580 of child support.
okay.
So if I may have another moment to recalculate, my apologies.
Well, that's about 12 months, almost into the line. Let's say 11 months at 590.
Yeah, because he stopped the payments the first month that he left with her. I gave her the money that was given to me. I gave it back to her. And then thereafter he put the stop payment. So that was good. So I wasn't getting the money, but he wasn't getting the money either. So it's like I guess like a savings account for him.
Well, not really a savings account. They're just not dispersing the unit, the money. They're not giving out the money. They're keeping it until this matter is finalized today. So it's entirely possible, Mr. Ceniceros, that not only will you not owe child support, but there's a possibility you might be getting some money back.
Okay, based on the $580 a month of child support, I have calculated a possession credit in the amount of $7,090.50. My apologies.
Okay, so what does that do to the resulting balance?
So the arrears are completely wiped out because after placing the hold, he only owes $6,071.56 in child support. So his amount of child support arrears is exceeded by $1,000.
So in essence, he might be getting everything that's on hold back.
Yes, Your Honor.
Okay.
Yes, the possession credit exceeds the child support arrears owed by $1,018.94, but I can only give a possession credit up to the arrears owed on the case.
Yes.
So how would Your Honor like me to address this issue?
Well, we can confirm the arrears and then give him possession credit, and whatever is owed or whatever money is on hold can be delivered back to Mr. Ceniceros.
Yes, Your Honor.
Okay. So in essence, Mr. Ceniceros, once the order is done and they run the numbers, so to speak, that may clear any arrearages that you have in child support. All right. But keep in mind, parties, this does not change the custody of the child, okay? If the daughter continues to live, is going to continue to live with Mr. Ceniceros, then somebody will need to file a motion to change the custody of the child.
And my daughter's aware, and I've made her aware that if
Oh, sorry, what?
at any given I've made my daughter aware that if any given time she wants to return with mom, well, we'll cross that bridge when we get to it, and she's more than welcome to live wherever she's more comfortable.
Okay, well, that's something that you all will have to talk about and determine at this, at some later date. Okay, all right, Ms. Kaplan, do you have information that you need for the order?
Yes, Your Honor. So just to clarify, the child support arrears owed after applying the possession credit is zeroed out, and then the medical support judgment remains unchanged, and the money on hold is going to be applied to that, and the rest is going to be dispersed to Mr. Ceniceros.
Yes, yes, that is correct.
Thank you, Your Honor.
It may be that Mr. Ceniceros, you don't owe anything in either child support or medical support, and you probably will be getting some money back from the state. Okay. All right. Regarding the non-disclosure, I did see that there was a protective order that was issued in the past. The last order that did have a non-disclosure, and I will continue with the non-disclosure of any of parties' information not to be contained in a court order.
Thank you.
Okay. All right, Ms. Kaplan, if you will prepare the order for my signature, I will sign it. Once it is signed and filed with the district clerk's office, both of you will receive a copy of the order. All right. I think resolve everything in the case.
Yes, Your Honor, I believe so.
All right. All right. Well, that concludes our hearing in the case. Thank you all very much for your participation. At this time, parties are free to go. Thank you.
Yeah.
That was interesting.